So, welcome back, dear students. So, let us start our discussion upon how to determine liquid limit. Okay, so let's start with the first method, which is the Casagrande apparatus method. So, here in this figure, you can see what we call as Casagrande's apparatus. There is a bowl, there is some rotating mechanism. For now, let us understand in this way. Just a brief outline of what are the various components. At the bottom you can see three different tools. The one in the color blue is known as the Casagrande tool. The metallic one, the just above it, without the handle, it is known as the ASTM tool. Okay, and this is the Casagrande apparatus, which is shown above. So let us try to understand how to perform this test and how to obtain the value of liquid limit. So let us start. As we know that liquid limit may also be defined as the minimum water content at which the at which we can say a part of soil cut by a tool of standard dimension starts to flow. So I'll quickly write it for you. It will be very beneficial if you can take down some important these important experiments in your notebook. It will be helpful in understanding. So as I said, that liquid limit may also be defined as the minimum water content value at which part of soil, when cut by a standard tool. So as you can see in the diagram, let me quickly show you once again. These are some of the standard tools which are used to cut the sample. What happens? The sample of soil is taken, and for different amount of for a random amount of water content, it is mixed with it and it is placed in this bowl. I will explain the later process with the next point. So for now, let us understand the basic definition and what Casagrande said. So what happens that the minimum water content at which the soil cut by a standard tool, it should be of it should be of standard dimension also. So these all dimensions and these standardizations have been already done, and it has been followed by various Indian standard codes as well. Okay, so now let us try to understand what I have just written. So this is the basic working of determination of liquid limit using Casagrande's apparatus. So what I have written here, that let me quickly draw a diagram. I am drawing a diagram for this bowl. So the bowl may be of this shape. I am taking the cross section. So what happens before the test? The soil sample is taken. It is a dry soil sample which is oven dried at a particular period of time much before, and it is mixed with a certain amount of water. So what happens when you place the soil sample? It is placed like this, correct? Now why these tools are used? As it is written here that the liquid limit may also be defined as the minimum water content at which part of soil cut by a standard tool of standard dimension flows together, okay, by a distance of half inch. We'll understand it later. For now, let us focus on this. So what happens? we take one of the tool. It may be any of these these three tools shown here. It may be the ASTM tool or it may be the Casagrande tool. So the soil sample is cut, and we can see that when we cut the soil sample from between, so it takes up a shape in this fashion. So this is after the cutting of uh, the soil sample and just before the test. Okay, this is the condition of the sample. So next what is done, let me show you the diagram. There is a rotating knob in the right hand side, as a handle is also attached. As you can see, it is rotated, and the number of rotations can be calculated on the left hand side in a meter which is attached at the left hand side, as you can see in the apparatus. So as I have written that under the impact of 25 blows, so what happens, as you provide the rotational motion in this apparatus, this bowl taps on the surface, on this wooden surface. It may be wooden, it may be made of some rubber material, it may be hard, soft, we will discuss it later. This rotational movement creates an impact force on this bowl, and Casagrande said that under the impact of 25 blows, where height of fall is adjusted to around 1 centimeter and the distance flown by the soil sample is around half inch, that is this distance they are talking about. So when this soil sample is tapped for 25 times and it is able to flow and join together, so this amount of water content at which in exactly 25 number of blows we are able to obtain the complete flow of soil is termed as liquid limit by Casagrande method. Okay, so I hope you have understood this, what is happening actually. So this is by 25 blows at a particular water content. Okay, now further, in order to find the liquid limit, number of blows required by the soil to follow a distance of half inch corresponding to particular water content is noted. So we need to note this value of water content. Okay, the test is repeated for the same soil sample at different water content values. It may be possible that initially you took the water sample or the water content for the soil, dry soil, as W1, but for it you might have required, let us say for example, around 30 blows to achieve this stage. So this is not the definition of by Casagrande. Casagrande says that the number of blows should be 25. So what you did, you took another sample, you took sample B and you added a little more amount of water, and you came to the water content of W2, in which we obtained that in exact 25 number of blows we were able to obtain this representation, and the soil was able to flow. So here we take the value of W2 as the value for liquid limit. Okay, so as Casagrande said that the results, we need to note this water content value, that is W2. Further, the result of test are represented in a form of a curve. I will draw it just now, and known as the flow curve. So let us quickly draw it. The flow curve is basically the curve between the values of water content on the y-axis and log of number of blows in which the soil was able to flow together and come together is taken on the x-axis. So this is known as the flow curve. Now what is happening here, that let us say for a particular water content, let us say a water content of W1, we observed that for N1 number of blows, the soil was able to come together or flow together. So what we did on the x-axis, we took the log value of N1 and we joined these points. So we obtain a point here, correct? Further, it was since it was less than 25, we went further and we changed the value of water content as W2, for which we obtained a different n value, that is the number of blows, and we corresponded represented the point in terms of log of same. Further, we were not even satisfied now, since we have not obtained the value of n2 as 25. We further modified the value of water content and we took it as W3. So what happened at W3, we were able to find the value of N3 as 25. So this was the value we were looking for. Further, it might I will show you why this curve has a different kind of importance. So for now, let us remove this assumption that n3 came out to be 25. Let us increase the water content values even further. This time let us say w4, and correspondingly a point is obtained with the n value of n4. Now it might be possible, let us take some values for n1, n2, n3 and n4. The value of n1 may be, I'm just assuming the values, it may be 10. For n2 it might be around let us say maybe 18. For n3 let us say the values may be around let us say 27 maybe. For n4 let us take a value of maybe 36. So we obtained different values with our experiment conducted over Casagrande apparatus. We found and we plotted the curve. Next, what we need to do, we need to join these lines. So this comes out to be a straight line. We need to draw as straight as possible. Mostly it is observed that a straight line is generally found, but there might be some or other error, unexpected error, which might cause a trouble. So what we need to obtain from this curve, from this flow curve, we need to obtain the value of water content, that is W, which corresponds to a point on this curve which gives the exact n value as 25. So this point should be log of 25, and corresponding to that we will obtain the water content, which we define as liquid limit as per Casagrande's theory. Okay, so this is about the flow curve. Some important things further related to this flow curve, let us discuss. The slope of this flow curve is termed as flow index. In short, we can also we generally write it as IF. Now what does this flow index do? This flow index, it represents the rate of loss of shear strength. The rate of loss of shear strength of soil with increase in water content. So how do we obtain the slope? We can take different values of W, and we can take the different values from the x-axis, the corresponding value, and we can find the slope of the curve. It is quite simple actually. So let us take the W1 and W2 values on itself. So in the denominator we will get log n1 minus log n2. From here we can obtain that the flow index value comes out to be uh, W1 minus W2, and we can rewrite the denominator as log of n1 by n2. So what Casagrande said, that the flow index value, it further represents the rate of loss of shear strength along with the increase in water content. Okay, so this in itself is a very important relation to be understood and memorized for various examinations. Further, there are some important things which we need to note, that higher the value of flow index for a particular soil, lower will be its shear strength. This I have obtained from the theory just we have learned. So I'll quickly write it down for you. I take the most important of the points from the standard textbooks, and what I do based upon my knowledge of university papers and questions which have I've observed in the examinations such as GATE and UPSC. So generally these points are very much emphasized in all of these examinations, and it, or not only just for examination, it also enhances your knowledge about this particular topic. So the first note which we need to take here, that higher the value of flow index for particular soil, lower will be its shear strength. Okay, next note we need to take here, let us consider our diagram. Yeah, here it is. We need to note, if you remember, I discussed that the tapping of this bowl, which is tapped on maybe a wooden surface or a rubber base. So if this rubber base of this Casagrande apparatus, if it is replaced by a metal base, just try to think, visualize what effect will take place. Will we be getting the same results? Will the water content level will be same for rubber base as well as for a metallic base for exactly 25 number of blows to obtain the liquid limit value, that is the joining of two separated soil masses? Yes, most of you are correct that no, since the base is changed, so the impact forces generated upon tapping of this bowl will change. So it might be possible that if we provide a harder base, the the soil the soil will tend to flow even faster due to higher impact force. So can I write it down in simple words? So the second note states that if the rubber base of Casagrande apparatus is replaced by metal base, and we'll consider the difference what will happen in the value of flow index, then the IF, that is the flow index, will increase. Correct? So we can write it that flow index for metal base is observed to be higher than the flow index for rubber base. Do you agree with me on this point? I'll quickly take a recap now on what we have learned regarding Casagrande's apparatus. We learned that Casagrande apparatus is one of the methods to determine the value of liquid limit using Casagrande's apparatus and tools. So the diagram showing above is the Casagrande apparatus, and there are three different tools which are placed below, the blue one being the the blue one being the Casagrande tool, and the top one being the ASTM tool, and the middle one is a standard knife which is used for Casagrande apparatus. Now the function of we learned that the function of these three tools is just to cut the sample as shown here. uh, the soil which is dry soil plus certain amount of water. So at a particular water content the soil sample is cutted, and we obtain a curve for various values of water content, and the point where exactly 25 number of blows are observed, the corresponding value for the water content is taken to be as the liquid limit for the given soil sample. Further, we also discussed about the concept of flow index and obtained an expression with for flow index using the above curve, that is the flow curve. Further, we discussed some of the situations which might occur if, in case of, let us say, what does examiner might ask you, what does this flow curve signifies to you? How they can also give you a diagram like this, in which they might give you two different soils, let us say soil A and soil B, and they might ask you, question your knowledge, that which soil has a higher value of flow index and which soil has a higher value of shear strength. So you must be able to answer this type of problems using this theory. Further, the examiner might also test your knowledge regarding the working of the instrument. If the base is changed from a rubber base to a metal base maybe, or some wooden base, the difference occurs in the impact force which is occurring upon the rotational movement and tapping of this bowl again and again on the base. So due to the change in impact force, what we observe that the flow index value changes, and we observe that the flow index value for metal base turns out to be higher than the flow index value for rubber base. This simple thing, it can be drawn in form of a curve as well. So we can obtain the different values of flow index. Let us draw for rubber base first, and I'll draw for metal base also. We have seen that the slope or the flow index for metal base is larger. So here we can see, we can also observe that the at a particular value of water content, let us say W, we obtain different values for N in comparing so this rubber base and metal base. So here we can see the difference. Moving on to the next method, which is one point method. Now this is based upon the Casagrande method, and liquid limit is computed using single observation rather than taking multiple observation as we have done in this problem. Here we have taken four different readings of different combinations of water content and soil, and we have obtained the value as per Casagrande theory as per the graph. So what happens, what the one point method states, that uh, liquid limit liquid limit can also be computed by using an empirical relation. Liquid limit can be determined using single observation test empirically. So what the expression says, the liquid limit value is equals to Wy times n by 25 to the power x. Now, what are the different values which we need to consider here? Here, the Wy is the water content corresponding to n number of blows. Now, the value of x, it might vary from 0.068 to 1.21. It varies upon the type of soil, and when the value of capital N, that is the number of blows, is kept between 20 to 30, then the value of x can be taken as 0.1. So it is a very time saving method, since we are getting approximately the same result as I have observed, and this empirical relation can be used to quickly calculate the liquid limit values for a given soil sample. So that's all for the Casagrande method. Let us quickly take a look on the second method for determining the liquid limit, which is the cone penetrometer test. So this cone penetrometer test, if we consider the IS code for this, it is IS 2720. Further, what is happening here? I'll quickly draw another diagram to improve the understanding for this test. So this is your apparatus for cone penetrometer. Basically, this is based upon the penetration of the particular tool or a particular cone into the soil sample. What is done, that in a cylinder the soil sample is placed, okay, and above it cone is mounted vertically and is allowed to penetrate in this soil mass. Okay, now some key points to note about this experiment is that the total mass, that is the total sliding mass, that is the this cone plus this sliding bar, the sliding mass is equals to 80 grams, and the vertex angle for this cone is roughly about 30 degrees. We can take it as 30 plus minus 1 degrees. And further, the sample of soil is to be tested, and the cylindrical vessel is used, for which the diameter of this cylindrical vessel, dia and height is around 5 centimeters both. Okay, so it is placed below the penetrometer. Further, time, how much time do we allow this penetration to happen? It is around 30 seconds. So what is happening, we have prepared a soil sample with a particular amount of water content, and we have placed in the cylindrical vessel. We allow this penetrating cone to penetrate the soil mass for a period of 30 seconds, and further we take the reading using the graduated scale on it. And this theory of cone penetrometer says that the liquid limit is taken as the water content at uh, which the penetrometer gives a penetration of 20 mm. Okay, so these are certain things which we need to remember about the cone penetrometer test. Firstly, we need to remember about some of the physical properties of the apparatus, that the cylindrical vessel has a diameter and height of 5 centimeter. The sliding mass is around 80 grams. The vortex angle of the cone here, this cone here I've shown, is around 30 degrees. This further, the time period is given of around 30 seconds to penetrate into the soil sample. And the water content, we again here also we have to perform multiple tests to obtain the correspondence of 20 mm penetration in under the time of 30 seconds. So if we change any of these values, we will not be obtaining very correct results as per Indian standard codes. Okay, so that's all for today's lecture. In the next lecture, we will learn about some definitions and some understanding regarding to plastic limit. We will also try to understand that how the plastic limit is determined. Thank you for watching this lesson.